Now we are also going to focus on the physical evaluation of the patient. We're done with the history and we are particularly highlighted and we're going to correlate the history with the physical examination and the positive findings of the physical examination. It basically starts off with the taking the vitals of the patient, the temperature, the blood pressure, the respiratory rate. They're going to be taken into account and they're basically going to evaluate a lot of factors. Moving on, the physical examination, we're going to focus on the particular pathophysiologies even over here. Before that, we're going to see whether the patient we're just going to inspect and evaluate the patient overall. Is he anxious or fearful? These are the particular points that you're going to look for because that is going to state the auris conditions or the auris stimulus that the patient is getting. And along with that, you're also going to examine whether the patient is well oriented in time, place, and person, or whether he's suffering from some sort of mental confusion or not. After a general evaluation, you're going to move on to systemically see the patient and look for the different signs and symptoms of the underlying pathologies as well. The particular pathologies that you're going to look for over here are the tuberous sclerosis that the patient might be suffering from. Then we have the neurofibromatosis, which is one of the long-standing pathology that can contribute towards the development of the seizure activity. Then obviously we have the chronic liver or the renal diseases that may also contribute towards the development of this kind of a condition. And then we have the metabolic storage diseases that can also contribute towards the development of this seizure activity. When we are looking at the limbs, we'd be looking for the particular limb asymmetry. Any sort of swelling that the patient has, or the redness or the rubor, pallor, all of these physical states are going to be evaluated over here as well. And moving on, we have the brain injury that the patient might have. History is going to evaluate all of these factors as well, but you're going to look for the peculiar features even over here. Moving on, we have the auscultation of the carotid arteries that can even contribute towards the particular Bruy formations, and that is going to highlight the fact that the carotid supply to the blood to the brain is basically hindered, and that can result in the seizure activity in the patient. Moving on, the evaluation is done. We first of all assess for the mental status. The memory is checked, language functioning is checked for the individual. And when you're taking the history in detail, you look for the abstract thinking as well over here. Testing of the visual fields is done in detail, and you look for any sort of screening tests of the motor functionality. A pronator drift, it is one of the very important physical examination tests that is being carried out. You ask the patient to supinate, and then obviously you command the patient to pronate. Acting upon the particular commands is basically focusing on the fact that the patient is well oriented and he follows the commands. The deep tendon reflexes are also checked for. Gait is very important. You look for any walking abnormalities in the patient. You check for different coordination tests as well over here, and then we'd move on to the cortical sensory testing. As I've already mentioned, the fact that the different cortices, when they're involved in these seizure activities, they give you a unique set of symptoms in the patient. So it's very important that you look for the particular features and that are basically pointing out towards the particular cortical features over here in the patient. The double simultaneous stimulations are also checked for in the patient, and that is how basically you're going to evaluate what particular cortical area is involved in the patient of epilepsy, or even it can be a case of an isolated seizure activity in the patient.